Hey, Pudge, what time is it?
It's time for the Chubby Guys podcast.
Woo!
We're in.
Hey, we're back.
We're
How's
back.
it going?
Hey, did you notice how quick Hickey threw out there? He was a pilot.
Yeah,
I mean, he thought that the button had been hit, and he was like, "By the way, I'm a pilot."
yeah.
We get it, Hickey.
Hey, we're going to talk about it, man.
They say just give a pilot a minute, he'll tell you.
Yeah. Hey, this is kind of a long-awaited guest here, man.
He big legs us.
Yeah. I mean,
do.
it's a hard guy to get in touch.
Yeah.
Man.
Busy, always busy. Elk hunting across the Alps or something, flying to wherever.
Killing bears.
Yeah, killing bears.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I usually roll in about 9 o'clock at night. That's about when
Today, he's been fighting fires.
Two calls since quitting time today. Worked at Geiger Brothers and had 2 today.
Yeah.
Two calls already.
But Geiger Brothers, you're probably not really an 8 to 5 guy there. I mean, you might go late there sometimes too.
I try to be
8 to 2.
You about
8
2.
8 to 2.
No, our guys start real early. Construction. Those guys hit the road 5 a.m. So the phone calls start, and they're thinking about what they're going to do for the rest of the day. And
so you have to be. Do you go in there that early?
no, I'm usually on the phone though. Usually getting ready on the phone, or I hit there about 6:30, 7.
Whew, man.
And we quit 5.
Okay. Well, man,
Usually
that's a long day, dude.
Yeah. If you start at 9 and end at, 10 that night, it's the same thing.
Right.
These guys just get up. What time you go to bed, Hickey?
Oh, 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Yeah.
I crash
So
out.
we've got you out past your bedtime probably right now.
Yeah, really close. Actually you do. My whole house is that way, kids and all. Now 5 o'clock, they're ready to go.
Yeah. Whew, that's my. Hey guys, try the beardedpup.com. Some of the best men's grooming products available on the market. I'll tell you, I have been a big fan of men's grooming products my entire life. And his post-shave balm is the best that I have ever used in my 48 years. Complete facial moisturizer. You can use it on your arms, face, legs, wherever you want. The cologne at thebeardedpup.com will have your wife all over you. Guys, it's real easy. Just go to thebeardedpup.com, pull out your phone. It's really easy. Very interactive website. You can get on there, order a sample pack of any different product that you may want to try. I am here to tell you, this is Chubby Chad endorsed. I think that it is the best products on the market. Beardedpup.com. Get your phone out and go see it. Sun is an early riser.
So is Gibson.
7.
Yeah.
But like our house will be up. They're in the early going to bed generally at our house.
No, we're 11 midnighters. I'm getting better. I used to be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, I've been dragging myself out early. I've been trying to.
Hey, I cut my screen time down to an average of 6 minutes a day.
Gee whiz, well,
That's
because you're.
I'm like days.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, my phone reminds me, and it's embarrassing.
Dude, I got up to like 4 hours a day at one point, and I was like, whoa. I was like, this has got to stop.
You said, I'm just going to rehab an apartment.
Yeah.
That'll keep you off of it.
I just stay off of it now. I go home, I check it, I fall asleep, I do it again.
Yeah.
I told you, did I tell you the trick? This is not going to be a real serious episode with you, Hickey.
All right, got it.
We're ready to cut loose here for a little bit. Since you won't drink any whiskey with us.
What's the trick?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Me and Mindy, you're going to make fun of me. I told you about this, I think.
Okay, well, let's hear about it.
We took the family to a Gmail account.
A family Gmail account.
The family, and anything that needs done as far as like let's say on Tuesday, you got to be at in-laws for dinner.
Oh, shared calendar.
Yeah, well, we're doing that. Just everything is in that Gmail. Okay, your notes, everything.
Yeah.
If there's documents, save it in that. Hey, I need this all the time. Well, here it is.
I think that's a good idea, man.
Dude, it's made us so much more efficient. Because, like we were having these like not battles, but like it was like, you'd get to be dinner time. Okay. And it's like, well, what are we doing about dinner? Well, it was never planned. And it's like, that's coming there. No, it's not, it wasn't her fault, but it's like, that's an event that's coming every day.
Right.
You ought to know when it's going to be.
Let's have a little less stress about it.
Yeah. Let's make this easy.
We struggle with that probably worse than anything else, man. I mean,
we do.
It's always like, well, let's not cook tonight. Let's go out to eat. Where you want to go? Well, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, then to hell with it. We're having peanut butter and jelly and going to bed.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's really helped.
We got a group calendar, same thing. I mean, when I quit work, I basically pull my watch up. I'm like, all right, where do I got to go?
Where am I supposed to be?
It helps a bunch because I lose it,
Yeah. No, Mindy's not been 100% ready.
Compliant.
Them teachers, but now listen, now whatever school's out, they just kind of it's shut down.
Yeah,
they're not trying to
the pool.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah, it's pools.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's all I hear.
And then sleep. And sleep.
Yeah.
And relaxation.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a group that just full blown shut down.
Yeah. Well, they're like, man, it's going too fast. I'm like, what? I mean, what?
Yeah, we got a month?
Yeah, I know.
A month and they're back in.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, good. I mean, I think the kids, everybody needs to let's move.
It's opposite for us. I mean, we ramp up in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Kids are to pool every day, and we're going haywire.
Yeah.
Work.
Where you been flying to recently?
I flew to Knoxville, gave myself COVID about a month ago.
Did you get over it? Did you got any symptoms?
I did. Went down there, landed, kids, took the kids with me, working. I was working down there in our office. Took them down there to my mother's and
Oh yeah,
told her
handy.
They got some allergies. I said, man, you got something blooming down here that's not in Ohio. It wasn't 15 minutes after I got to the house, and Mom's like, oh, my friend had COVID. Said the same thing. I'm like, oh, whatever. I get ready to go to work the next day, and she throws a COVID test, and I take it, jump in the shower, get out. I'm like, I know it's negative. Didn't feel like the first time, and positive. Put me. She locked me in a bedroom down there at the house, and I got to come out 5 days later.
Is that the way it works now?
5 days.
Yeah.
If you're unvaccinated, I don't know. I don't know. I read it when I got it. But.
Oh, what are you, Hickey? Did you take the jab?
So they scared me to death the first time. So I got COVID the first time, and right out of Thanksgiving in 2020.
Oh yeah, early. You got it when Massey got it after the show.
We all crashed out.
Yeah,
so I had fevers for 4 months.
That's what we thought. Yeah, you laid up.
Oh, it was awful. I hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had fevers 4 months. My hair started falling out. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Karen Young, Jeff Young's wife, had about the same time, same symptoms. It was, I finally went to Adina. I'm like, look, I'll go home if I'm being a wuss, and that's what I told him.
Yeah.
And he goes, something's wrong. You don't have fevers for 4 months. And finally, they did some blood work on Friday, took 7 or 8 tubes of blood, said, come back in 2 weeks, take a steroid. On Tuesday, they called and said, get back in here, something's really wrong. They set me down. They're like, you could have bone marrow issues, a blood cancer. And I'm like, dear Lord, man, I thought I had COVID.
Yeah, right.
Right. I got over it shortly thereafter. But they sent me over to a blood specialist at Adina, and slowly everything kind of trended back to normal. But they were seeing things that weren't matching. Like if something's low, it should be low. They were seeing one low and one high. They couldn't ever make sense of it.
Did you get that infusion?
No, it was before that.
Oh, okay.
I had it real early.
It was pretty early, yeah.
And I really struggled with it. And then where I'm on the fire department, first responders could get it early, the COVID vaccine, and everybody got it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want this shit again.
Yeah.
So went and got it. I never did get boosted.
Did you get the second one?
Yeah, I did get both shots.
That's what I am. So I'm not technically probably then fully.
Yeah, you don't count anymore. They give you no credit if you're unboosted under current guidelines. It's like being unvaccinated. And if they would have told me that up front, I would have never got it.
So, all right, I got boosted once. Okay, but how long does that last?
They got some guidelines. I want to say 6 months, but I'm not 100%.
I feel like I'm probably due for another one, but it's kind of just trickled.
It's endless.
That's what I mean.
So I got COVID. My mom got COVID. The kid's aunt and uncle got COVID. My dad got COVID out of this last round, and none of us had it like we did the first time. I think it's losing its teeth.
Well, yeah, I think that when it switched to that Omicron variant or whatever, I think that's a little lighter one, man.
Yeah, my second one was.
And I think that's what I had the first time. Like it wasn't. I mean, mine did.
24 hours. I was on my ass.
Yeah. I didn't move for a couple days.
Yeah, it did that to me the first time. COVID. Yeah. Now this one, tired a day or two, and then right back to.
Also,
I had
you
to
were fine.
Yeah, yeah, nothing. Everybody in the family that got the second go around, much milder.
Okay.
So I'm over the boosters. I think it's going to be like a flu.
Well, it is. And here's the thing. I mean, now, hell, you've had it twice. You've probably got some natural immunity build up.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But I flew down there, and then they took my airplane, and I had to drive home.
Oh.
They needed it for
You're
work.
a pretty savvy cat. I don't have to give you too much credit, Hickey.
Yeah.
But me and Mindy was just talking. We went to Chillicothe, went to Menards or something Sunday. And COVID seems to be over. Do you think it is? Like, I was looking at the crowds, like Chillicothe seems somewhat packed, but then like for 4th of July weekend, I didn't think it was that packed.
I think there's a lot of kind of like the way I think of it. It's lost its teeth. If I get it, fine. It's the flu's out there.
I think people
I'm
are
gonna
less.
get the flu.
I think people are less scared of it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were terrifying you.
Well,
for,
I mean,
for what
heck,
they were
when
doing.
that first came out, I mean, I was kind of afraid. Like, geez, do we go out of the house? What is this stuff? And then
I think that's over.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Now it's like I got it. This sucks. I got to stay at home for 5 days.
And I'll tell you what, I think you give it another 2 years, it's going to be just like the flu, or something like that.
Or history. Or history.
Or history. Yeah. I mean, there might be. Hey, 1 year there might be some variant that you never know.
It obviously had some teeth early on, though. I mean, it took out a lot of good people. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it did.
And then, now you get it. Like I got it. First time I got it, I was like, oh,
This
is it. I had to take a couple breathing treatments. I mean, I'm like, what in the world? My goal after like week 1 was to walk down my driveway, which is a quarter mile. And I made it about halfway and I sat down. As far as I can make it. I mean, I can barely make it much more than that now. But, but seriously, that was my goal. And now I got it. I'm like, whatever.
Well, and it seemed like the people that were getting it early like that, like, man, it just hung on too.
Yeah.
I mean, it just hung on.
Yeah.
And no energy. I mean, but all right, you talked about you flying to Knoxville, man. So how long have you been a pilot?
I'd say 2012, maybe. I have to look back through my logbooks.
What got you into that, man?
So, in college, there's a guy here, a local guy, Randy Golf. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Randy Golf.
Oh, yeah.
The
Desert
mom
Storm?
and dad lived right across from
The Desert Storm hero?
Yeah, absolutely. So when my mom and my dad knew him very well. So he was stationed as a fighter instructor in Sumter, South Carolina, and we'd go to Myrtle Beach, and they would take me a day or two and go to the military base. He'd get me like a full access pass.
Yeah,
and I went to Aviation Challenge, which is like space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. That's all I wanted to ever do. Because, you get up in the morning, those guys, they talk about flying, and they go fly, and then when they're done in their, I want to call it a squadron. I don't know if I'm using the right words, but in their squadron, they had a couple beer taps. They would debrief, and they'd have a couple beers and go home and fly airplanes again next day. I'm like, how could life get any better? And that's what I always wanted to do. I broke my leg in high school. I was going into my senior year, and I got screws in my left leg. They said, you could do anything in the Air Force, probably never make it to pilot. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to do. So I ended up going into engineering, got into construction, but that's all I ever wanted to do. So I finally saved up some money. Eric in the office started flying, took me up. First time I was terrified. And just kept going from there. So I kind of got to where I wanted to be, but it just took me a lot longer. I wanted to fly in the military. That's all I wanted to do. And it was because Randy had given me that experience as a kid to watch fighter jets, up front and climb all over them. And
my!
It was a great time.
Yeah. Now then, do you fly jets now, right?
Yeah,
small jets, like
I'm SIC, which is second in command, so co-pilot in like a Citation. It can hold about 11 people.
Okay.
Fly PIC in a Vision jet, single engine jet.
Yeah.
But twin engine rated, commercially rated.
What's PIC mean?
Pilot in command.
Pilot in command. Okay.
It's if somebody's flying, there's always a pilot in command. So there's never any argument or you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're PIC today. You're flying the airplane. That way, there's no confusion because you got to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting.
Now, do you generally, when you're flying a jet like that, do you generally have a co-pilot?
Yeah. So you can fly the Vision without a co-pilot.
Yeah.
Most of your twin engine jets, some of them are single pilot certified, but very few. And then you have to have special requirements to do that. So 95% of them out there, I would say, are flown two pilot because you're so busy. You're so fast. Everything's so fast. So in a Vision jet, you're going, 315 knots. 350, maybe 350 miles an hour. I mean, things are happening quick.
Yeah.
And it's really nice when the guy beside you is dealing with the radios.
Right.
Everybody's kind of got their own role.
Their lane.
And exactly. And it takes that burden off. And you got another set of eyes going, you hit the wrong button.
Okay.
Or, hey, what do you think about this weather ahead of you? Could I need to go left, deviate right? You got another opinion beside you that's been there, done that.
Right. So, and what's the difference then in like a twin prop plane?
So typically the way you learn is you start as a VFR pilot. Visual flight rules is what that stands for. So you fly around nice weather, single engine, always a single engine piston.
That's so scary.
Then you go to they turn you loose. Like I don't know. I think I had maybe 4. Maybe
and is that where
hours.
you're not using instrumentation?
That's right. It's all
visual.
ground reference. Like
Okay.
you know if you're upside down, right? Because you can see the ground.
Right.
Then you go to get an instrument ticket, IFR flying, which instrument flying means you fly in the clouds, bad weather.
Yeah.
You don't have to see the ground. You take off, 0 visibility, follow the center line, fly it out of there. That's all gauges. That's usually step 2. And then you can do like I went. My step 2 was the IFR, and then I went commercial single, which is a commercial pilot, meaning you can be for hire, and you fly single engine. Then I did private. I think I did private multi, meaning 2 engines, typically piston engines still with propellers. Then I did commercial multi, so I can fly I can be for hire. Like I got enough hours now that if I wanted to, I could probably go and get picked up because there was a big pilot shortage.
Well, like a commercial airline or just like a private?
Either. I've got some buddies that actually started way after me that I met flying, and they're flying for Delta. One of them just got promoted to Delta last month, flying a big iron. He's waiting on a simulator spot, and then he's turned loose.
Well, is it like, all right, the larger aircraft?
Yep.
You're flying. Is there a great difference in that and a twin engine jet that you're flying right now?
No, your big airliners are typically statistically way safer, right? You got 2 very qualified pilots up front. You got tons of redundant systems. You got 2, 3, 4 engines. I mean, the redundancy's there. That's why they're safe. It's really safe mode of travel for you to buy a commercial ticket and go somewhere.
Yeah.
You do run into. We go into a lot smaller airports, shorter runways. So what we do is statistically not nearly as safe as a commercial airline. It's nice because you can go to little podunk airports and 5,000-foot runways where they typically land where there's 10 or 12,000 feet. Yeah. So it's built. The programs are all built in the instruction and the training that it's just a much safer environment for those big guys.
Yeah.
Okay. But could you fly one of those big planes?
Yeah. So if I wanted to, I could apply like PSA out of Dayton. There's a lot of regional carriers that fly under American or sticker different.
Yeah.
But they put you in a simulator training. You become an ATP with I think 1,500 hours. You can become an ATP, which is an airline transport pilot, and you'll fly right seat while you got an experienced pilot beside you for a while, and then eventually you move over to left seat. So I mean it's definitely possible. I wish I knew. Coming out of high school, I didn't know what the options were. I thought, well, I can't fly airplanes in the military, so I got to be an engineer. Yeah. And you can actually, like if I knew what I knew now, and I know the people I know now, it's really streamlined. I mean, you could be 22, 23 years old.
Logan's doing it.
Exactly. And I finally talked to him, and I've got a guy, he's a DPE for the FAA. He's a guy you ride with that blesses off your ability, basically. Right. They call it a check ride. And phenomenal guy. And I told Logan, I said, just go see him. This is what he does. And I watched him put, dozens of people into the airlines. And I'm like, the guy's a great instructor. Get up there. And he's doing it. And he'll be flying commercially probably 23, 24 years old. If he has the hours, he may be flying. Wow. I mean, you may walk on an airplane, he'd be standing in a nice shirt. Yeah. I'll probably get off. But, nah.
No, well, I mean, I one of my last job, we flew private occasionally. Yeah. Like the owner has had a membership through like, what is that, like Millionaire or
there's Millionaire, like NetJets, those guys.
I don't know what it was.
Fractional ownership.
And every now and then we get, and man, I'm telling you, that is a nice way to travel, man. No bag checks, no airport. You go throw your bag in the back, sit down, boom.
Yeah, it's funny. We flew some iron workers, local boys here, Shay Meredith, Kevin Meredith, those guys. We flew them back and forth to Knoxville, and they'd walk through the terminal with their 12-pack of beer, get in the back of the airplane, and 30, an hour later, we're back in Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a 6-hour car ride, and there are no plane rides to Jackson, Ohio. So it was really convenient for those guys, and it was a good tool for us to get them. Yeah. Hey, will you go down there and work for us 6 hours from home? Yeah. And we will try to get, when the weather permits, we'll try to get you home, in an hour rather than put you on the road for 12 hours in your 48-hour weekking.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and do you do that a lot with your employees?
A lot of supervision. Since early on, when we were a Jackson-based company, and we would just had jobs in Knoxville.
Right.
So we've since bought an office down there. We've got an office. It's pretty well staffed. It's got 5 or 6 guys that work out there full time. So there's not as much travel, but we go down and see those guys a lot. One of our main superintendents up here. He was my right-hand man up here, which is, I hate to lose him. But he's running a lot of work down there, Terry Spencer, and he You know,
There it goes.
Oh.
Stuck to the coaster. My bad,
Yeah.
Hickey. My bad.
he bought a house.
Oh,
You know,
okay,
we
so-
have we have trouble down there because that area is so nice.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you got the mountains, you got the hiking, you got the biking, you got lakes everywhere. You know, we send a guy down there and he won't come home. You know, like they'll just buy a house. Like, I'm good. You find me work, I'll stay.
Yeah.
You know,
There'll be
That's
people
kinda
take
how
up
he does it.
residency.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
I think that's cool.
They love it.
How often do you find yourself going down there then, man?
Should go down there more. I get pretty wrapped up here. You know, my intent was to go down like every other week.
Okay.
You know, for 3 or 4 days at a time.
Yeah.
My mother and stepfather live down there and on the water, so I can go down there and it's about 15 minutes from the office. Real convenient
Oh,
for me.
so
I
you
land,
can-
they pick
yeah.
me up at the airport. I steal a car from them.
Yeah. Do you guys like now? Does Geiger Brothers like? Do you guys have like a condo or anything down there, or do you like go to hotels? What do you do?
We do both. We have hotels for guys that aren't there full time or
Right.
crews. You know, overflow. We do hotels. We got some deals with some local hotels. Kayla's
Yeah.
worked out. But we have 4 apartments, so they're
okay.
fully furnished. The guys have laundry. That way, they don't have to bring all their their
yeah.
suitcase
Yeah.
and their clothes. It's all
So if
done
they
during
know
the
they're
week.
going to be down there for
Yep.
say 2 or 3 months,
Yep.
like they can leave their stuff there and
Absolutely.
fly home and see people here. And then
Yeah,
fly.
they'll either if the weather's bad, they'll take off Friday or Thursday evening. A lot of times they work 410s.
Yeah.
It's Thursday evening they'll drive back, or we'll go down and get them. But it keeps all their stuff down there, so it's more
Yeah.
like it's not. I mean, being on the road's no fun. I mean,
Well,
nobody
no,
loves it.
sucks, yeah.
And it kind of makes it a little home for them there.
Yeah.
That hopefully is more convenient
Oh heck yeah!
because
That's
we
cool.
appreciate them going down there for us.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we got guys that they all got kids. They got kids in sports. I mean, same place we're at in life.
Sure.
And now they're 6 hours from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I'll tell you what, if you guys are able to fly them like that, it doesn't feel like it then a lot of times.
It does help. They usually are gun shy at first, or we'll hit a couple storms here and there. But like Shay and those guys, they got used to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and they were seeing the airplanes and looking at the
I mean,
weather.
they're probably like, heck, man. I mean, an hour versus 6.
Yeah, they'll usually ride with you.
I got a good chase story.
Oh, there's a lot of good Shay stories out there.
This was like last week one day. I think it was midnight. My phone starts blowing up. Shay's texting me.
Okay.
He has found this life insurance guy on TikTok, and Shay's got questions.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
The next day, I called him and I was like, "Hey, listen, next time one of them midnight TikTok gurus hits you,
Yeah.
I said, just set a reminder for in the morning. I said, let's not be getting any financial advice laying on the pillow.
Hey, swipe right.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
I love that guy.
They are. They're great.
I played that party you guys had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Greg, or no, it's Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin Meredith and
Yep. Chuck
Scott.
Yep.
There was somebody else that retired.
Henry retired.
Yeah.
He'd worked for us for years.
And man, you could just tell those guys they're in it with you. I mean, you got a good crew of dudes, man.
That's where we're very blessed. I'll say is we can literally go do anything. We can go down and build a uranium enrichment plant, or we can go to Ohio State and work in their steam tunnels. We can literally, it don't matter what it is. A helicopter, we rig stuff on the roof of General Mills with helicopters. Those guys are so good at that stuff.
Yeah.
They do stuff that I could only imagine doing. I can do the paperwork. They can't do the paperwork, but
Yeah.
I also can't weld pipe like an artist. We got some guys like Mikey Landrum and those guys that are just, they make it look so easy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it looks like an artist did it.
Yeah.
And I can't stick metal together. It's just, I know the process. I can tell you all about it. I can tell you what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Couldn't remotely do it.
But there's a lot of travel coming into even Jackson. You take like General Mills, Luiginos.
Oh yeah.
What they're doing down in Knoxville is somebody's doing that here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I realized that at the bar, man. There was all kinds of people, just transients, just here for periods.
There's a lot of guys in this area that are very talented. Construction is one of those things. You get up early. Scott and I always joke, if you're up at 4:30 or 5 going to work, the only thing moving around in the morning are, usually a Geiger truck or a Shelley and Sands truck. It's all construction guys getting their coffee, moving about. And they just make it happen.
Yeah.
It's a different breed.
I love to watch Jackson wake up.
Yeah.
It's cool. You can kind of you can see it real good at Western Southern always out there. You could, if you got in there about 7 and about 7:30, it'd really start crawling.
Yep.
No, I think it's sleeping in a little more now, man.
Dude, you could play basketball on Broadway up until about 10 a.m.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, it's a ghost town. Now I will say Broadway's picking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be. Seems to be here in the last couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know.
Well, so Hickey, how long you been with Geiger Brothers, man? Were you right out of school straight to Geiger Brothers?
So I had University of Cincinnati, I can't say enough good things about them. They got a co-op program that is forced. You don't get an option. You got to go to a co-op program. So engineering, there's 5 years. Standard program, I tell everybody I went 5 years, and they're like, oh, really? It took you another year?
Yeah.
You know, but it's a 5-year program. You co-op, after your first year, you go a quarter, work a quarter, go a quarter, and I think it's semesters now, but that's the way mine was.
Yeah.
And I work for a company out of Cincinnati called Messer Construction. They're huge.
Oh, yeah.
They just built Dina's new surgery center. Do like $1 billion a year in construction. And they said, you know, it was 2008. I graduated college. They said, you know, there were no jobs to be had in construction. Nobody was building anything.
Hey, guys, on behalf of the Chubbies, huge thanks to Geiger Brothers Construction. Give them a call at 740-286-0800. They've been great community supporters, and they are a friend of the Chubby program, so thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction. My God, as a parent of an 8-year-old with a family and moving through life, the best thing I ever did was download the McDonald's app. What a breeze. Order for your family. Pull up. They bring it to you. Easy. Download the app today from McDonald's.
And they said, you got a job wherever you want. Pick a market. They got Louisville, Lexington, Knoxville, Charlotte, Indianapolis, Columbus, Cincinnati. And my grandparents were sick. Bob and Mary, the house I live in now, they were sick, and I always want to come back and farm a little bit. So I shot Scott an email. I didn't know Geiger Brothers from Adam. Everybody for the first 5 years I worked there thought I was related to him. Like, how you related? How you get that job? I'm like, I sent a guy an email. I don't know. And
like, you didn't really know Scott?
No, I mean, I knew the family around, but I mean, I wouldn't know him if I ran into him.
Right.
And I shot him an email, say, hey, I'm a recent graduate of University of Cincinnati, looking for a job from Jackson. You know, and
I'd say Scott likes it. Somebody from Jackson. They like that.
He's rooting for you. Yeah, he's rooting for you.
Yeah, and then that was it. I mean, 15 years later.
15 years. Gee whiz.
Yep.
You know, do you realize how rare that is, though, man, that you're still working at the job you got right out of college, man?
Yeah, and I mean, literally live a quarter mile from where I grew up, so I'm pretty stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not much has changed.
Yeah. I went and lived in Cincinnati for 5 years, but other than that. Now,
did you enjoy that?
You know, I did.
But you were ready to come back to, like, small town.
I was. So I'm not nearly as smart as Scott thinks. I was smart enough to realize if I went to Ohio University, I'd probably drink my way back home.
Yeah.
But and if I went, I wasn't smart enough to keep myself from doing it.
Yeah.
So I picked University of Cincinnati because I didn't know anybody.
Right.
I'm like, I go to OU, it's gonna be a party. I'll be back home in a quarter.
Yeah.
Just watch me go.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I went to University of Cincinnati. Jamie Callahan went to University of Cincinnati out of my grade. Only other guy, I think, that went, 2 of us. He went into architecture, total different program. I didn't see him a whole lot in college. But it helped me being away. It's 2 hours from home if I need to be.
Yeah.
But I was in my own world. I loved it.
Did you come home a lot?
I did a lot on the weekends. My mother lived in Waverly on Lake White at the time, and I had enough dirty clothes, like I could survive for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I had this giant bag, and I would fill that thing full of dirty clothes, and I'd stop at Waverly, give my mom a hug, throw that bag out, and I'd come on to Jackson, run all weekend, wheel back through there Sunday night, pick the laundry up, and head on back. Yeah. I actually I always tell a story, and I'm not kidding when I say this, but my mom sent me to college with a thing of detergent. 5 years later, I brought it back.
I did. Unopened.
Literally. She's like, you've got to be kidding me. That's not a joke. Yeah. But I wish it was.
So one thing you didn't do in college was laundry.
No, that's one thing I didn't. And, I was weird. I mean, you know that. But I spent a lot of time in the libraries. I mean, I lived in the libraries.
Okay.
Because coming out of Jackson, everybody in Cincinnati comes from private Catholic school. I mean, what the first year was review to me or to them?
Yeah, it was.
I had never seen it.
Yeah.
So the first couple years, I mean, I struggled. My first quarter, I called my mom. I'm like, failing out.
That hit me. That hit me at Hocking.
Yeah.
I went to Hocking College, and that first year, man, I can remember guys in class that you could just tell were dumb. And they'd be like, this is review. And I'd be like, where did you review this at? I've never seen this before.
Yeah, you're putting symbols on the board I have never seen.
Now, did you pay attention in high school?
No. Mm-mm.
I didn't pay attention at all.
No.
Yeah.
It was probably there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think a lot of that was probably on me.
Yeah.
I didn't hit a lick. I got good grades, but I didn't. You know, I wasn't burning the midnight oil studying in high school.
No.
I never took a book home.
No.
My entire high school career.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
I mean, there were probably some that were
Christy
like for a
Parks
project or
would
something.
be so mad at me because I had her for like algebra or whatever, pre-calculus, whatever. And I mean, I would like show up like half, you know, and she had a room up on the third floor of the old high school, right? And I just I had her last quarter, I think junior year, and I just wave at her when I was leaving school. I just go home, and you know, she was always mad, but I can always take the test, get a good grade. It made her furious. I mean, she always says that.
If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, though, right?
But I learned the opposite in college. I mean, you can go there and you can show up every day and fail right out.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't care. They don't know who Kyle is. They don't care who Kyle is.
You don't want to come to class? Fine.
Yeah, that's
You don't have to.
Great. Yeah.
Make sure you send a check.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
I was amazed, but
Was you take it like
Hey, do you want to help develop your child's athletic ability? Or maybe you want to get off the couch and make yourself a little bit better. They earn the day at AP Prep. Look them up, apprep.info. Hey, are you a business owner looking for insurance coverage? Give this guy a call. You know him. You trust him. Jason Gillum, Gillum Insurance, 740-395-0190.
Here sees it off and
oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Fishing. I remember, you know, John Sturgill was sheriff deputy for 40 years. You know, I remember him coming out and getting me at Shy Snyder's house out there fishing. You know, they were reeling us back in from school. And
Yeah.
my mom was a teacher, so she knew I skipped school before I knew I was skipping school.
Yeah.
But I mean, he'd come out and get us, and we'd ride back to town, and I'd get my Bob Kite, and Andy Rice would yell at me, and don't do that again, Kyle. And you know, a week later, we have the same conversation.
yeah.
But it was different.
So then you go away to Cincinnati.
Yep.
Then you come back at the job at Geiger Brothers. At what point does then firefighting come into play?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Because you're a pilot, you're an engineer, and you're a firefighter.
Yeah.
So you are busy.
So
and are you still tied in with Dylan on the farming?
a little bit, only on like maybe 80
you
acres.
probably got to teach him a lot.
His risk tolerance is much larger than mine. I mean, I don't care to run in a house on fire, but I mean, you know,
Dylan he likes the dirt.
Absolutely. He lives for it, and I think it's awesome. But I mean, the risk in what those guys do every day, putting everything they got on the line, hoping the bugs don't eat it, hoping it rains, hoping it doesn't rain too much.
From what I'm seeing, you're facing one of the hardest years ever.
Yeah,
with fuel prices the way they are.
I may misspeak here because Dylan keeps track of all the money, and he's but I mean, when we started, so Dylan and I. We were going to farm Randy's land. He had Blanton Farm over there. It was hillside, not great ground, but and we came up with this idea, and we called a guy, and we bought a planter, and Dylan and I took a day. I took a day off work. He took a day off college, and we planted a strip right beside his driveway and walked behind that planter like, I don't know, you know, we're reading stuff on Google and we're trying to figure it out. Literally, we bought this, I think, $15,000 planter. We went $7,500 a piece on it, and we planted a strip beside his driveway just to see if we could do it. And then we went and planted that day, and that's how it all started. We started like 80 acres, and now he's up to, God, I don't know how many.
I don't either, yeah.
I mean, north of 1,000. I'd say.
Yeah, he's got to be around 1,000.
And, you know, the costs are enormous. When we got into it, fertilizer was $250 a ton. Dylan may correct me, but I think it's about $250 a ton. It's like north of, it's like $1,250.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the cost, and it just, the farmer don't make any more money. Corn's, you know, they're like record prices. I'm like, yeah, but record input prices.
Yeah.
You know, so the farmer is not making any more money.
Unless if you're doing it at a massive scale,
it's got to be
massive.
A business.
Yeah,
it's a business, not a like my grandpa and Dylan's grandpa.
Yeah.
You know, he had a 2-row corn planter, and you know that was, you could turn a little dollars probably at the end of the year and feed your cows, and but those days are gone. You can do it for fun, but don't ever expect for it to be a job. It's got to be a business.
Just like you said, the risk involved. I mean, it's like, man, I hope it rains. Oh, shoot, I hope it doesn't rain too much.
Exactly.
Or like, you know, well, I mean, seriously, is it? I mean, I don't know anything about it. Like, I mean,
Dylan and I were going to the banks, and at least I was. He may not have, but I mean, just an operating loan. You know, going to the banks like, I don't really have anything. I haven't really paid any money on my house. I'm 25, but I want a farm. Yeah. You know, can I get a $50,000 operating loan to get me through harvest? And they're like, you know, what are you going to do if this doesn't grow or you don't get a good crop? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. You know, and I was raising kids. I was ahead of Dylan a little bit. You know, he was coming out of college, and like I said, go back to his risk. His risk tolerance has got to be much larger than mine. I mean, I'm in construction, which is bad enough, but I mean, sheesh, it's scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right now this would be a rough year, man.
Yeah, see, so we can tack farmer into that too.
Oh yeah, farmer.
Not a bunch. Now I'm basically a tractor driver when I got time. I mean, I love to help.
Beer drinker.
And do you enjoy that?
I do. I grew up with my grandpa, riding, which
beer drinker.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that goes on when you're farming. You got to do that when you're farming. But I grew up riding on the fender with my grandpa.
Okay.
And now if you did it, you'd probably get child neglect charges because you'd fall off and get run over. But I just endless hours. And Grandpa was the one that kind of pushed he and I towards that.
Okay.
As he got older, he got out of it, and that's when we started farming. He thought we were nuts at the time because of the risk. He said, "There's too much risk in it, boys," and we did it anyway.
Yeah.
But that's what I.
So then, when did the firefighting thing come in? Is that something you always wanted to do? Did you go watch Backdraft or something? Or
no.
He watched Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun and Backdraft. And so I've got a problem with. I don't want to, and I don't know how to say this, I don't want to live like a normal life per se.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid of just going through the motions. Right?
Yeah.
You get I don't know how many days you get on this earth, but you get a set number, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And you're done. So anything I always wanted to do, I just go do it. I always want to fly airplanes, so I went down to Memphis, and I'm like, hey, I want to learn how to fly airplanes. I asked this guy named Mike Chastain. He taught me how to fly airplanes. Great pilot. Got 20,000 hours. Yeah. Same thing. I walked through the back door of the fire station. I'm like, I always want to do this. They're like, oh, yeah, come here, fill out this application. And I've always picked the things I always want to do, and I just went and did them.
What's involved with being a firefighter, man? I mean, you walk in the back door, then what happens? The
state of Ohio has like a program kind of like flying. 36 hours of training gets you to volunteer status. Then there's a Firefighter 1, which is 120 hours of training. Then there's Firefighter 2, which is what your full-time guys have. It's 240 hours of training, like Columbus Fire.
Oh, yeah. Dayton,
yep,
Columbus,
exactly.
Cincinnati.
So like anything, I had to take it all the way to the end, so I'm 240.
Okay.
Along the way, I got to love it. I don't even like getting shots or getting blood work done, but, if you need cut out of a car, I'm your guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But along that way, in the fire service around here, especially this county, is got some of the most dedicated people. I mean, nobody makes any money, right?
Right.
They leave their dinners, they leave their Christmas.
Yeah.
As soon as the fire pager goes off, they make I think in Jackson we make $11, and we're high paid. Some departments get nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize what they do. Like Jackson is going to outpace 250 runs. They'll be closer to 300 runs this year.
That's almost one a day.
It's one a day, and you're asking these people to do it for like $11, and they burn more in fuel getting
not
to
an
the fire
hour,
station.
$11.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you got like Liberty; those guys I don't think make any money.
Why
you
is
could
that?
call them right now, and there'd be 3 trucks and 12 guys.
Okay, this is a classic conversation. You might know this.
Yep.
So there's a big thought process now. So tell me why. I feel like right now the population here is the highest it's probably ever been.
I don't know that, but it seems like it on Main Street. I mean, holy crap!
Seems like okay.
You can't get down Main Street.
No.
So why are we having trouble like getting like what's up with the population? Why is it not working?
As far as the fire service?
Well, I'm saying there's several people that have had to like outsource workers. Several people that have had to.
So I did.
You guys are down in volunteer fire,
absolutely.
So why are like numbers down with like certain things, but yet our population is the highest it's ever been?
I went to Workforce Ohio, like a Jobs Ohio program. I had to talk at it. They asked questions, like a little panel, and I was under the assumption.
Was this
it was painful.
I missed that.
I hate talking in front of people.
Was that the that board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Justin Oxbine and Jennifer was there from the radio. But I blame COVID, you paid them a bunch of money and they all went home. Turns out that's not at all true. They got a bunch of statistics, and I got the PowerPoint slides. I actually got back to office and Scott and Eric, and I'm like, we're in trouble. So if you employed, and I'm thinking this is right, if you employed every Ohio worker on unemployment, you would still have 4 in 10 jobs unfilled. There's not enough people.
Yeah.
There's so much work right now. There's just not enough people. I think we need a family needs to average 2.1 person per family like 2.1
in order
kids.
to fill all the
And we're down in like the 1.6 range. So a lot of the older people are retiring. They saw their retirement spike with the
Sure.
last few years, and they're like, oh crap, I got to get out now. I got to turn this into cash or something solid, and I got to get out now. So the retirement level is very high, right now with the baby boomers, and we're not replacing them. So the population's there, but there's not enough. I call them eligible workers. Maybe they're too old, they're too young. But if you took everybody off unemployment in the state of Ohio, 4 in 10 jobs would still be unfilled. I'm like, so that's not the problem. And it was a big eye opener to me because I thought the opposite. I'm like, well, they'll just pay you to stay home.
Yeah, they'll always make more. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the way I look
and I'll
at
tell you what, I think it puts you in a bind too, where if you're in a just a company like yours, for instance, where you need skilled labor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think that there's maybe a misnomer out there that. Well, I mean, they just grow skilled labor in the fields, buddy. But that's not the case.
No.
It's hard to fire guys, man.
Yeah,
because then you got to replace them.
I mean, yeah. There's a lot of times that you're like, oh man, I know what he did, but I need him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I mean,
and there's a lot of that.
I don't really care for Billy Goats either.
Yeah, exactly.
The man can weld.
Yeah,
construction's interesting because it.
Yeah.
I feel like the pendulum's finally coming back our way. For when we were in school, it was, well, you're going to college or you're not going to make it. And I as I got into the construction side of it, I realized that's probably not farther from the truth. I mean, we've got pipe welders making $125,000, $130,000 a year. Exactly.
Doctor money.
Now they're going to work for it, but we got some guys that literally make great livings.
Yeah.
And nobody told me that in college. So you can not go 5 years in debt here.
Yeah. How much college debt do they have?
And by the time you get out, we can be making $150,000 a year. Yeah. And it was now it's coming our way because the wages are high, right? Yeah. And they're going, do I want to go $200,000 in debt and get a job in underwater basket weaving? That I'm unemployable. Yeah. And I owe student loans for God knows how long.
Well, and it'll take me 10 years to get the salary that it's talking about this.
I saw those numbers one time, like they did the math, like, loss, not only the loss in wages for those 4 or 5 years, because you don't work, right? Or you do a little bit, but maybe not a ton. Right. And plus the debt. I mean, it's like 15, 20-year payback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and like I think a lot of times, like they'll look at, I'm a guy that's a freshman, sophomore in high school. I know my daughter was doing this. She was looking at engineering.
Right.
She's like, well, the average engineer makes, X.
Yep.
And I'm like, but not immediately.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's some grinding in there,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and
it's going to come our way, I think, because you're starting to see it. Buckeye Hills is picking up a lot of great programs. I'm really tickled to death with what they're doing in the area. They're teaming up with the unions, the trade unions, and like AEP is putting them through lineman class, so those guys can go to or high school and maybe a little bit of post high school stuff, and they've got a great job, great benefits, great retirement.
You're talking about living wage jobs with a chance to retire after 30 years or something.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's going to be great.
That's a pretty good deal. So the firefighting. Here's another question for a volunteer firefighter, Jackson. The bigger we get, and I mean, it seems like our fire department, I've never heard a bad word about it, dude. And,
good people.
Yeah, and what I'm wondering is there ever any talk about maybe having a couple guys full time?
There is.
Moving away from the volunteer?
Or
what keeps us from that?
Jackson has always been very spoiled. They had a group in there of 20 to 25 that some of them retired recently. They're all they've gotten older. But they've been, I don't want to use the word spoiled, but they've been spoiled. Jackson, you call for the fire department, they're usually out the door in 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes. Because I do the run reports, so I see all the numbers. They got a fire truck running to you in 3 minutes. That's like a full-time department time. Yeah. Because a lot of them live near the fire station at the time. So when we were spoiled, I'll call it, with very well-staffed fire department, nobody said anything. Just kind of stayed quiet. Now, you can't find people at, to work for $15, $20 an hour. You sure in the heck aren't going to find somebody volunteer. So we're down on numbers. I think there's like 7, maybe 9 on the fire department now in Jackson, 300 runs a year. We do have an automatic mutual aid. Liberty comes in and helps us. Bloomfield was en route today for a house that air conditioner caught on fire out on Standpipe Road. So there's a really good network of people that we can pull from. But there's not enough people. There's just really not. You're going to run the 9 you got to death.
Oh,
I mean, 300
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah.
You're just going to run them to death.
Oh yeah.
For nothing. It's not like you're paying their utility bills.
Why?
Right?
So going back to my question, why do you think it is? Because you should have more than enough population right now to do this.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a thing. Wellston, much smaller than us, they've got full-time people. They usually I'm not sure how they do it, but I think they keep one, maybe two on staff 24/7, 365. So they're out the door real
Don't
quick.
they have like a first responder program there or something too?
They do.
I don't know if there's value to that or not. I don't know.
There is. It's really great. We could never do it in Jackson because they would run the wheels off of us. I mean, we do 1,500 runs a year.
Yeah.
The squads in Jackson, I'll tell you, it's the other group of people that you come across that are just underpaid and overworked are the people that work on those squads. I mean, it's like Jackson's taxi service. I mean, you hear them going out for vomiting and this and that. And then
right here on Broadway, I hear every one of them that moves.
Yeah. I mean, they run the wheels off those guys. I mean, I talk to those guys, and, they'll be working 16, 24-hour shifts, doubles, triples, just days on end, and they don't make remotely the money they should make. Because when you get in a car wreck, and that's the guy in the back of the car starting your IV and holding your neck, you don't want the cheapest guy on the totem pole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what they do for the pay they get is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and another thing we take for granted, 2 squads run out of Jackson, 1 out of Oak Hill, 1 out of Wellston. So the fire departments have the first responders that, say you have a car wreck and you've got 4 people. We may have 3 squads at that car wreck, and then somebody has a heart attack in Oak Hill. So the fire departments, Jackson does not run first responders, but Madison, Jefferson, Wellston, I think Bloomfield, Scioto, they all run first responders because they can get there quicker. They got limited tools on their truck,
Right.
but they can get the process started until the squad gets there. And most of those are like Scioto farmers, just your average Joe lives down the street.
Yeah.
That's
But they've
great
had
program.
some training and they got some equipment. I mean, it can save
Did you ever
somebody's life.
did you go to EMT school?
No, I don't like
I
needles.
did.
I couldn't do it.
That was part of my nursing thing. They had whenever I went to nursing school at Hocking, they had a waiting list to get in clinicals. So in order to keep my, financial aid and everything rolling in, I had to go take a class. So I took an EMT course. I was glad I took it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. I got a chance to ride in a helicopter one time with them.
I've never done it. We've landed a bunch of them.
Out of Hocking Hospital. We did our hours at Hocking.
Yeah.
But I had to drive to Perry campus out of Athens every day
Yeah.
to take that class. It was pretty cool. Scott Booker, I think, was that guy's name.
Those guys, that's cool.
Yeah.
They've got great tools. I mean, we talk to them a lot. So if you usually the medics make the call for the helicopter. We'll put it on standby if we feel like got a car wreck, and you get the poor dispatchers get 200 911 calls when somebody wrecks on 32. So they're trying to sort through the information, get the right information to the right group. Like, all right, I got fire en route. I told them what they got. I got the squad en route. I got standard patrol en route. And they kind of spearhead the whole thing.
Yeah.
But if we hear a lot of traffic, you get one call, okay. You get 15 calls, all right, let me start thinking. Put a helicopter in standby. That puts one running on the ground. It's staffed. They get in it. It started, right? So the time's the critical part.
Yeah.
And then usually the EMT or the medic on scene will say, yeah, go ahead and send them. And then the fire department always lands them because they're busy.
Yeah.
So we usually take that for them.
Yeah.
What a machine.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
That's unbelievable.
Them pilots, I always joke, there's a lot of young pilots, there's pilot shortage like there is a shortage and everything else. The old Vietnam guys, they get out with their leather coat on and their patches on their arm. You could put 4 cones on top of a mailbox and they could stick a helicopter on it. They'd look at it once and they'd swoop down and they were there.
Yeah.
A lot of the young guys like me, they're like, give me a football field.
Now, do you tell them as soon as they land, you're a pilot too?
No, I do mess around with so I can talk to them a little better because fire lingo and it's funny, but fire lingo and helicopter lingo are not usually intermeshed.
Yeah.
We're on the ground trying to give them coordinates, and they're going. I know how their avionics is set up, so usually I can, and I've got apps I can look where they're at. I'm like, helicopter be here in 5 minutes. So that does help interface that a little bit. I can usually talk to them in their lingo 5 miles to the west, yada, yada, yada. But,
wow. Yeah, I mean, those guys got to be, I've heard stories of, I actually graduated with a guy whose dad was a a life flight pilot. That's why they moved here.
Yep.
And he had been a Vietnam era.
Yeah, all them dudes can fly helicopters. I mean,
That's what those War X guys are.
Yeah, they're like, man, those dudes could land that thing on a quarter, man.
they can.
I mean,
You put 4 cones out and get out of the way because that's where they're sticking it.
yeah.
I can't imagine old Jake Moore doing it. That War X guy.
Oh yeah.
He does all that.
Oh yeah.
He's crazy anyway.
They make the call, whether they can fly in weather or not. I mean, there's a lot of weight on that pilot's shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
my.
a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because he's got the crew in there, the nurse and the medic. And
Everybody.
Yeah.
What else you want to bust on him about?
I don't know, man. What else you got, Hickey? I mean, we missed anything?
That's about it.
Well, I mean, we're just gonna have to come back and do it again.
Well, he won't drink with us. Maybe.
Well,
he'll drink
I'm gonna
with
bring
us
him
next
on here.
time.
I'm telling you, whatever you say on here is forever.
That's right. So, you know what we'll do? We're gonna come on here and we're gonna do a whiskey episode sometime.
Yeah.
We can talk about hunting. What do you want to
Yeah.
know?
Oh well. No,
Oh yeah. We didn't
wait
even
a
talk
minute.
about that.
My goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
That's
did
probably
a
the most
bear hunt.
interesting thing about you.
Yeah.
So,
We'll save that for episode 2.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a repeat now that you've got your feet wet.
Yeah.
Now don't big leg us for another 2 years.
No, this is interesting to me.
No, we'll
I've
do
never
that at the
talked
end
into a
of
microphone.
yeah, we'll do that at the end of the summer. Here, we'll do the hunting.
Yeah, it says
episode.
the hunting ones are better in the winter.
Can't give away all the secrets. No, I'm just kidding. The Rocky Mountains are huge. I mean, all kind of things you can shoot at out there.
You got anything else?
No.
We've been at a little over an
man.
hour.
Yeah, thanks
Really?
for coming on,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate
it, guys.
Hope you had
Cheers.
fun. Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah, water.
even though you didn't drink with
empty
us.
glasses.
I'm terrified of my inability to stop.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
All right.
I've been there.
Hey, check out our page, ChubbyGuysPodcast.com. You got anything else?
Buy
Jack?
some merch, man.
Bearded Pup is rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
too.
he's doing well. I'm about ready to make another order.
Are
with
you?
the guy. Yeah.
Get old baby face going there.
Yeah,
And then we got Geiger here with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our boys at AP Prep have been talking to Prater some.
They're
Been
good.
over there.
Yeah.
So who else we got? Mun porched us tonight. Mun. I went to Mun too and said, "Hey, Mun, you
Mun.
want to come talk McDonald's?" Sarah immediately lays it down. Says, "I know he has plans."
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
What are his plans?
He
are?
has plans.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Not that he just happens to be my neighbor.
Right.
So it was real easy.
No, I mean, I all the sponsors are doing good. Support those guys, and hey, get on there, give us a like, subscribe, and check out our merch, man.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do some fun stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see you.
See?
Bye.